Hello everyone, today I have a very exciting adapter. This is an NACS to CHAdeMO adapter, allowing your old Nissan Leaf to charge on an NACS port. I'm really excited to try this thing out and see how well it works. Before we start today's video, my name is Andrew Lambrecht. I'm a project engineer here at Ever, and I'm also a contributor at Inside EVs and Business Insider covering electric cars. If you're new to Ever, press the like and subscribe button for EV reviews, comparisons, and charging tests. If you're also interested in selling your EV, you can visit evercars.com to get a cash offer within minutes. That is evercars.com. Now let's dive into this charging adapter. And a quick preface, we're not paid to do this charging review. I simply got an email from this company called Orientrise, and they said, we'll send you one of our adapters if you do a video with it. And this is a very special adapter because it allows your old Nissan Leaf to charge on a NACS port, which is really cool. There's no adapter like this that I've ever seen before. Most of the emails I get are like, hey, do you want to check out our CCS adapter? I'm like, no, I don't really care. But this is really interesting. So I really want to give this product my honest feedback and see what exactly this thing is like. And first and foremost, this is called the Orientrise NACS to CHAdeMO adapter. It comes in this carrying pouch. This is the adapter. It's very big. It's also quite heavy, and you need to insert an 18650 battery cell in here and flash software. So it comes with a USB port. You basically plug it into your computer, download some software that they send you via an email, then insert it into this adapter so it's up to date and you can charge it on a NACS port. So this is a very, very involved adapter, and it's pretty expensive. It's $729. So this is the most expensive charging adapter I've ever used, and I'm just very excited to see what this thing is like. And the big thing here is that for Nissan Leaf and also Mitsubishi i-Miev, not leaving you guys out, for those drivers, if you're going on a road trip nowadays, it's actually going to be pretty difficult because there's not that many CHAdeMO stations still around. A lot of these older ones are being decommissioned, and they're also being transitioned into NACS. So all these older charging stations are kind of going away, and you actually need to have some sort of adapter if you want a relatively easy road trip in your Nissan Leaf. And one thing you also might ask is just why the heck is this adapter so expensive? Well, the big thing here is that CHAdeMO EVs, which is Nissan Leaf and Mitsubishi i-Miev, communicate totally differently than CCS and NACS EVs on the charger. So we have a different communications protocol, and this adapter actually has a battery. Like I mentioned earlier, we got a battery in here. You can also power it on, and you'll see a light that turns on. And this acts as the translator for the car and the charger. This basically speaks in CHAdeMO language on one end and NACS language on the other. That's why it has a battery in here, and it's just basically the translator between both the charger and the EV. So this adapter basically has a brain of its own to communicate between the car and the charger. Meanwhile, a typical NACS to CCS or CCS to NACS adapter is just a dumb adapter. It's merely an electrical link between NACS and CCS. There's no computer on board, whereas this one does have a computer on board to make that translation. And now the million-dollar question is, does this adapter work on a Tesla supercharger? And the answer is unfortunately no. So this does not work on Tesla superchargers, but it works on any third-party NACS charging port. Next up are the tech specs, and this is rated at 1,000 volts and 250 amps. That comes out to 250 kilowatts, more than enough for a Nissan Leaf. And this has an outdoor rating of IP54, which means that it can rain outside while this is charging your EV, and it should have no issues at all. And a quick note on safety, this does not have any UL certifications, particularly the UL 2252 certification. This does not have that. So typically with these smaller niche charging adapter manufacturers, they just don't invest in that UL certification because that typically does cost a lot of money and add some time to that development process. So just keep that in mind if that's something you're concerned about. This adapter does, however, feature the CE certification, which is an EU standard. It encompasses many things, but the biggest thing this does encompass is the fact that this adapter design prevents electrical shocks and it won't overheat while DC fast charging. And with that, let's venture out to an NACS charging port to see if this adapter actually works. And now it's the moment of truth. We have the Nissan Leaf here, the NACS port thanks to an Alpatronic unit, and we're gonna plug this thing in. So first off, we have the adapter. And what we're gonna do is open up the CHAdeMO port on the Nissan Leaf, and then I will insert the adapter into the Nissan Leaf. So it's a little difficult to get it in, but you feel the click and then you know that the connection is secure. Now, quick note, I've tried this several times and it seems that you need to have the Nissan Leaf powered on to allow the charging session to initiate. Once the adapter is inserted, I will press the power button on there to turn on the adapter. And now I will get the NACS port. Unfortunately, the design is flipped upside down, so you actually have to plug in the NACS port like so. So I get the NACS port, fit it in, there we go. There is a manual lock on here, so I pull up the manual lock, and now the charging cable is secure. Now I'm gonna go up to the EVSE and insert my card details. So after I inserted my credit card, it showed the initializing the charging session, and then I heard the contactors click on the charger and on the car. Then I got excited because I knew that meant the charging session should be imminent, and it was. And then the car started accepting electrons from the charger, which was pretty cool to see. Just a few notes, because I have tested this out on 2 units so far, EVgo and an Alpatronic BP Pulse. Just make sure that the adapter is fully inserted, and also make sure that your NACS cable is also fully inserted and locked, just to initiate that charging session. There were a few times when the charging session failed, and I think it was just because the NACS port wasn't fully inserted. So just make sure all the connections are secure, and then your charging session can start. By the time we were in the 40% state of charge range, the battery pack was sufficiently warmed up, and we reached this car's peak of 47 kilowatts. Yes, this Nissan Leaf is rated at 50 kilowatts, but even using CHAdeMO chargers, I've only seen up to 47 kilowatts in the 40 kilowatt hour battery version of the Leaf. And thanks to this adapter being rated at 1000 volts and 250 amps, there should be no limitations with the peak charge rate you'll see. And now it's time to end the charging session, so I'm gonna push back on the manual unlock, press the NACS button, or whatever it's called, on the NACS cable. I can now pull out the NACS cable, and now we have the adapter. You just press up on here and pull it out, and now you're done using the adapter. And that was our charging adapter test. To be honest, it was really exciting going out to an NACS port, plugging in, and seeing the Nissan Leaf charging. This is a game changer for Nissan Leaf owners who want to take their cars on long road trips. Now, I would really like to see Orientrise try to get that UL certification on here, but nevertheless, I think this adapter is pretty impressive. There's obviously a lot of engineering that's gone in here. This thing basically has a computer inside and talks between the car and the charger, and that's just pretty exciting. And with that, if you're curious about more of our Nissan Leaf content, click the link up there for our full Nissan Leaf model year comparison, everything from 2011 to 2026, along with our 10 to 80% charging test of the Nissan Leaf S. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to stay up to date with our EV reviews and comparisons.